People were talking, Curtis. Okay. Okay.
Now I do him very feminine. I don't know why.
Well, yeah, a little bit of lotion, a little bit of chapstick.
Imagine him getting a manicure.
Okay, just go easy.
And this administration is a rabid dog, and it's turning us upside down. And as far as I'm concerned, it's as obvious as the nose on your face.
I asked President Xi if they had a problem in China, but he said no, like that was better with the voice, I think, I must say.
China, president of...
Even the TV saw Donald Trump's dramatic tantrum. Networks were unable to keep up. He is now being completely ridiculed by comedians, and let's just say it's not beautiful. Trump has officially become an unstoppable joke due to his outrageous outbursts and strange justifications. But here's the twist. His most recent outburst is causing the comedy world to blow up. Stay in to find out why he's being laughed at and why this outburst will go down in history as the most funny incident in his career.
Donald Trump is the least shocking human being I've ever come across in my life. He is consistently being himself. The man is a cliched villain. Looks like a villain, talks like a villain. Like he looks like he should be in a Scooby-Doo episode.
What's your go-to impression? I've been working on my Trump.
It's a lot of great people. Lots of great people on both sides. Excuse me. Fake reviews.
L. Donald Trump is similar to a walking, talking comedy performance, but not in a good way. For years, comedians have been having a great time making fun of this guy. However, what could be more fascinating than a global meltdown? The latest outburst from Trump was nothing short of amazing. And if there's one thing we know, it's that nothing makes a comic happier than seeing someone who has spent decades acting in charge gradually lose their sense of reality.
To this, Trump is like, how are you qualified to be president?
Because I'm good, okay? I'm so good. I know how to do it, okay?
Every terrible movie has a scene when the antagonist suddenly understands the game is up. But in Donald Trump's case, it's more akin to a poor reality show where the antagonist is having his third outburst of the season, screaming about false news and strangely believing he's winning. However, this is a new level of shame since even comedians, who are skilled at using sarcasm and mocking, are joining in on the act, and they're having a great time. We're seeing Trump's meltdown in real time, but you'd think someone would have told him that the comedians were getting their hands filthy.
Cartoonist. This whole thing has brought back my 8-year-old self. It's been a gift from God. It's literally brought me back to 8 years old where I used to sit in my room. Trump is toast.
I like that, man. Trump is toast.
Yeah, man. And so you just kind of digest the news of this.
It's an affirmation.
I'm glad some good is coming out of this stuff. This is Robert Mueller.
Robert Mueller putting the squeeze on the president. Just to relieve
Let's establish the scenario. Trump, the guy who once had a real chance to lead the nation and bring a corporate enterprise to ruin, was back on stage with his typical favorites, misdirected rage, a collapsing ego, and a talent for making everyone uncomfortable. Then, like sharks surrounding a bloated fish corpse, comedians began to take turns. The jokes were delivered in waves.
Still the same problematic tweet. Alex Baldwin, whose dying, mediocre career was saved by his impersonation of me on SNL, now saying playing DJT was agony for him. Alex, it was also agony for those who were forced to watch. You were terrible. Bring back Daryl Hammond. Much funnier and a far greater talent.
That is a funny tweet. Okay, so Alec Baldwin does appear to be enjoying this. Here's his response. Agony though it may be, I'd like to hang in there for the impeachment hearings, the resignation speech, the farewell helicopter ride to Mar-a-Lago. You know, the good stuff that we've all been waiting for.
The true brilliance behind it all, the comedians aren't even making a sincere effort. They seem to be choosing low-hanging fruit, really. And really, who is to blame for him? Trump makes everything so simple. It seems like someone has just given him a free punchline wrapped in a bow and is running with it every time he opens his lips. Why wouldn't they? You seldom come across someone who regularly produces stuff like this, and boy are they savoring every scrap of it.
A lot of great people. Lots of great people on Bush. I love London. London falling down.
I just gotta tell you that you better bet your back. Because I also do a Donald Trump impression.
Jamie Foxx, the greatest Fox in the wilderness. Great guy.
Yes. Do you have the yell? That. You gotta get the yell. They tried to give me the virus. You know when he does it. I beat the virus. They tried to give me. You know.
Among the most memorable events of the period, Trump attempted to provide an explanation for something as basic as a worldwide epidemic. He stammered through the technicalities instead of discussing science or safety precautions, displaying a perplexing blend of ignorance and arrogance that could only result from someone who really thinks they are more knowledgeable than scientists. Did I have a brilliant intellect? He remarked, a very great mind. He did, in fact, and the comedians weren't going to overlook it. No, it was the late-night presenters who have been disparaging him ever since he rode that notorious escalator. With every meandering speech and every Trump tweet, they didn't even have to worry about it. They just relaxed, drank their coffee, and allowed the jokes come to them naturally.
Simple as that. You want to be president of the United States? Get a strange voice? You're done. Yeah, forget policies, forget ideas. That's boring. You come out there with a strange voice, the people love it. You realize there's been no American president who has a normal speaking voice. None.
Recall that moment. Trump used Twitter to vent about the terrible treatment he received, and in the middle of his rage, he managed to mention Kofi. You are aware of what's about to happen. The comedians couldn't wait to capitalize on that strange moment when the floodgates erupted. Kofi jokes were all over late-night programs for the following 3 weeks. Some comedians even went so far as to write whole parts about Trump's potential to address global issues. If only he would quit entering what seemed to be a code for nothing at all. It wasn't only the comedy legends having a good time. Oh no, the younger, more daring comedians were also participating. The fact is that he didn't even need to make a concerted effort. A guy who campaigned for president as if he were trying out for a part in an action film. The crowd loved Melanie's deadpan, and you can't blame them for it. The fruit is low-hanging. Yes, but it's ripe. Yes, it's really ripe.
Modern times, he criticized capitalism without a conscience. And that's what we have now. We have capitalism without a conscience. He showed the common man being fed through gears of the brutal, dehumanizing industrial age. He took on the American right wing of his day, its worst evils: hatred of immigrants, contempt for the truth, greed, and the abuse.
Not to mention the never-ending stream of podcasts and social media profiles devoted to disparaging him. It seems as if comedians everywhere received the same message. Hey, let's set this train disaster on fire and see what happens. And believe me, that has been taking place. Trump naturally seeks to retaliate. He has attempted to portray these individuals as sick, hating losers. You are aware of the standard playbook. Oh, the comedians are consuming it. Here's the kicker, however. The nicest thing about Trump's implosion is that it's all occurring right now. His strange behavior isn't reminiscent of a long-forgotten comedy episode. No. This infant is alive. This is the continuing tragedy of a guy who has become so self-destructive and out of touch that even his outbursts seem like something from a sketch comedy show. This material doesn't need comedians to create scripts. They just must appear. And that's the reason it tastes so good.
And Trump woke, because he always goes at 10, right? He's just going to go at it more than anyone. I'm woke like you wouldn't believe. I'm telling you, what's happening to these trans women athletes is quite frankly a disgrace. They should be allowed to compete with the girls and get in there. But people say, no, you can't do that. People say no? Excuse me. And I don't care if they're 6'3" with their hands and feet are like giant flippers. You gotta put them in the pool. They got feet like kangaroos. It looks like they're wearing jet skis when they're walking around. These are 4-footers. Push them in the pool. Put them in the pool.
Think about that for a minute. Trump and his insecure, egotistical conspirators are spewing a torrent of gibberish. And the comedians aren't just making fun of Trump for his failings or policies. They're laughing heartily. No, they're making fun of every aspect of his life, including the way he speaks, how he conducts himself, and how he somehow believes that others are really believing his story of grandeur. However, the ease with which they make fun of Trump and the fact that he is essentially a walking joke speaks much about the situation as a whole as well as about his public image. This goes beyond a few amusing tweets. No, this information is limitless. Comedians roll their eyes and grab their microphones, ready to convert the latest calamity into comedic gold whenever Trump stumbles or fumbles his own words.
Donald Trump is the least shocking human being I've ever come across in my life. He is consistently being himself.
I have a fantastic relationship with Mexico, okay? I have personally met with the Mexican president. I forget his name. I think it was something like Mr. Guacamole. I'm sorry, excuse me, Senor Guacamole. I also met his beautiful wife, Taquito, and their twin children, Chips and Salsa.
And let's not even discuss his rants. They resemble a comedy special that no one requested, but for some reason, everyone is watching. It's the type of show that makes you wonder about reality itself. Despite his inability to form a meaningful statement, this guy continues to get laughter. Kind of the only issue is that they're laughing at him rather than with him, and he doesn't seem to understand the difference. The way Trump attempts to maintain composure is just astounding. He's out there attempting to establish himself as a victor. And all they see is a guy who would blow up like a shaken soda if he were given a simple roast. At this point, you have to ask yourself whether it's more entertaining to see him attempt to act like he still has the upper hand, or if it's simply the volume of material that comes from every action he takes.
Funnier watching him try to act like he's still the boss? Or is it just the sheer amount of material that keeps coming from his every move?
Well, listen, honestly, some of the people around me say, let's not get political, but Jamie Foxx did the worst impression of me that I've ever heard. A terrible Trump.
It wasn't that bad.
It was so
bad. A lot of times people say it's bad, but it was actually the best impersonation of me that I've ever done of me.
Jamie, it was a disaster.
And I wasn't even there.
Jamie, they're saying Ray could have actually seen how bad it was.
To be honest with you, Stevie Wonder said it was amazing. So do you believe that blind guy or the other blind guy?
You know what? He's a nasty,
He's a lot of great people.
He's a nasty, pathetic...
Not to mention that Trump's outbursts on Twitter are essentially the comedic equivalent of the Super Bowl. It's like throwing a live grenade into a comedy club every time he presses send. We are all aware that comedians are just anticipating such outbursts because nobody wouldn't find it amusing when an adult guy lashes out on social media like a child who has been refused a cookie. The nicest thing is that everything is so predictable. The man can't resist jumping right into these insane episodes, giving the comedians a never-ending supply of fodder. It's like opening a present package marked instant joke material with every weird utterance. It's like giving the comedians a silver platter of ridiculousness with a side of, did he really just say that it's so bad it's good? As he fumbles through a foolish remark. It's similar to seeing a slow-motion auto accident. You can't help but stare even when you don't want to.
Working? Not working.
Oh, they got you coming and going, man. You know what I mean? You try and you try and you give it all. Give it all.
Furthermore, Trump's defensive tactics are only the cherry on top. Every effort by the comedians to change the story or avoid taking responsibility is simply ignored. A vicious circle exists. Trump's humiliating tantrums generate even more mockery, which naturally increases the comedian's wealth. If you have a keen sense of humor, he's like a walking, talking ATM. While he's out there tossing his most recent public breakdown into the stage, they're out there counting their money. It's almost like he's presenting a comedy show all day and night, and the crowd is enjoying it. Every time Trump speaks, you can almost hear the cash registers ringing. You can guarantee that a comedian will immediately take it up and run with it if there is a mic drop moment. The problem is that Trump is completely unaware of how he has been playing into their hands. Every tweet, outburst, and woke remark just fuels the flames. He is a gift that never stops giving, but instead of donating to the country, he gives directly to the comedians who have made his blunders into treasure.
I don't know where it's going. I keep discovering hooks.
I could publish that. I could tell you that. They're friends of mine. Okay.
I figure if he starts World War III, we'll be in our bunkers. He'll still be selling us on closed circuit TV.
You know, we had a fabulous nuclear war. It was fabulous. Tremendous nuclear war. Your bunkers are terrific. Your bunkers are fabulous. The Chinese bunkers are a disaster. A disaster. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, then it gets crazy.
Not to mention how predictable everything has becoming. The comedians are already preparing their lines when Trump embarks into a diatribe about his newest witch hunt or his never-ending conspiracy theories. It almost seems like a formula now when Trump does anything stupid. While comedians earn millions, we all laugh while they work to better themselves. He may as well start requesting royalties whenever someone makes fun of him at this rate. Sincerely, his never-ending verbal diarrhea is covering more expenses than his actual company ever could. It resembles an empire of one-man comedy. And the unwitting monarch of it all is Trump. Perhaps he would quit playing the idiot if he could see it, but that's what first made him a celebrity. And can you really hold them responsible? Trump's frequent outbursts are ultimately like an inexhaustible banquet for comedians. Every new catastrophe gives them a chance to hone their jokes, increase their sarcasm, and serve as a reminder to the world that, despite Trump's claims of authority, he is simply another joke to those who know how to take advantage of it. So hold on tight, because comedians will continue to make fun of Trump as long as he continues to behave like a walking joke, and believe me, they're just getting started.